Hi everyone, Chantel Dubois here. Okay, I had to come on to explain something to you, okay? Because it has occurred to me that so many people need help with something, and I'm not where they're at in business, but I know I have what they need, okay? So I see them having like so many issues. I hear it all the time. My ears just like perk up, and I'm just like, I have a solution for that. But how do I bring it to them to where they'll actually listen to what I'm saying, right? And because when sometimes people are not where you're at or above you, you don't want to listen. But my question to you is, do we ever learn anything from children? I do. so, um, I mean, there are things that I think of like that I've learned. Okay, because I may not be where some people are at, but I've still taken the lessons needed, even though I'm not able to actually implement all these things. And I do it so that I can be knowledgeable when I'm talking to business owners who are doing way more than myself. Okay, when I'm doing consulting. Okay, and so for that reason, I believe what I have is very, very valuable to you. Okay, so I would like to tell you a story really quick. Okay, um, so my father and myself, ever since I was a little girl, I would always be around his businesses and stuff, and I would always watch him. And I was always a pretty wise one to where some of his customers would be like, you tell that girl to be quiet or something, you might want to check that. And my father's name is LaFonte. And so they'd be like, Fonte, you might want to handle that one. And so then my dad would send me inside because he'd be like selling something and people would be lowballing him. And I would say, Dad, that's about, $600 worth of tools or, whatever it was. And well, don't you have to put this here and this here? Or don't you have to do this? And I was like 8 years old. Okay. And so I would get sent inside quite a bit. And yeah, fast forwarding to when my father purchased some property up in New Mexico. Okay. And he had a business lot and a residential lot. And he asked me, what do you think I should do? And I said, well, what is the environment like? What's going on? I went out there to go see for myself. And I said, I think you should start on the business lot first. I said, because it will fund your residential lot over time. And, he's like, well, I want to be comfortable. So I think I'm gonna start on the residential. And I went back, to tell him about the business part. I said, well, on the business part, all you have to do is put a well, do the electricity, because there was nothing there. Okay, nothing. And so I said, you just, put the well out there, put the electricity, build up a little building or have manufactured, mobile homes or whatever. Just, I would say build up a building instead. It just made more sense. And start a water house. So when people come, because a lot of people out there, they didn't have wells. Okay, they needed water. So if they don't have wells, how are they doing laundry? Where's the nearest laundromat? 2 cities over. Okay. And if they don't have wells, how are they taking showers? Okay. Where are they getting their drinking water from? Like what's really going on? And he didn't take heed to that. I mean, I believe that business would have flourished, and then he could have had like a little store inside as well. You have showers, so people could go and take showers if they want to. You have a well, so you can distribute water. It's well water. It's very clean. It's tasty, usually in those areas in New Mexico, depending on where you go. But in that area, the water was really good. And then you have washing machines and dryers, right? So that they can wash and dry their clothes. You get paid for all of this, right? So it made sense to me. I don't, because I used to, when I would go out there, once he built up the residential, he didn't have a well. The electricity was out there. He spent his money doing other things, getting, because he wanted animals, and, you know, his priorities were not straight. And so I just shook my head. Because I mean, I dealt with so many business people, you know, prior to that time. I was like, this doesn't even sound right to me. And he didn't care to listen to nothing I said, because he's like, you know, you don't got no degrees, you know, so I'm not trying to hear what you're saying. You don't have an actual business, so you can't teach me anything. I know what I'm doing, kind of thing. Because, you know, my father, shoot, he's a lot older than me. He had me when he was 50 years old. So here I am. I was 27 at the time. He's not trying to hear nothing I'm saying. He's kind of up there in age. He just wants to be comfortable. He doesn't care. But yet, you know, he said he wanted to start a business with me, and he wanted to do the restaurant business. I'm like, I don't want to run a restaurant. It's a lot. You know, a water house would be much easier to run, I would think. That's just from my perspective. I think it would be much easier, and there's a major necessity for it. So he ended up building up the residential first. But like I said, he had no well. So we would end up having to go to a local church to go get water. We would get barrels and barrels of water. And then we would boil the water. We would, you know, it was crazy being out there. I couldn't shower correctly. You know what I mean? You can't shower at all. You basically bird bathing, you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, it's crazy out here. And of course, I live somewhere else, but I would go and visit him. And, you know, sometimes I would live out there, you know, because you need that time to yourself. Or maybe I was in between travels, needed somewhere to go, you know what I mean? And then I just bounce out after like maybe 2 weeks to a month. I couldn't handle it being out there like that. I'm like, okay, camping is one thing, but when you really just want to be a lot more comfortable, you want that. And I'm used to that nomad life, you know, internet lifestyle kind of thing, you know what I mean? So it's just like there was no internet out there. I could only handle it for so long. And so when I went out there, I was like, this is crazy. If he would have just built the water house, even if the residential didn't have nothing out here, I could go over there and go take a shower in my own business. You know what I mean? In our business, I could go wash my clothes. I could go, even if the residential didn't have, but it's crazy. Like, how are you not going to make money and at least be able to build up the residential after at least a year or two? These were my thoughts. And that's what I told him. I said, after a year or two, you might not be comfortable, but after a year or two, you'll be able to build up the residential. And he was not trying to hear me. I think he was out there for like 8-9 years. He could never get ahead and do nothing with it because all he had was his paychecks, you know, because he was retired. He was veteran and his Social Security, that's all he had every month. And honestly, it was like maybe $2,500 to $3,000, if even that. And so he'd spend it, run through it, and then that was it. That's all he could do. Okay, and then we have habits like cigarettes and drinking, and, you know, that he had. Yeah, not we, I'm saying like he. And so there was so many things that he did, and it's like he would pay people, they wouldn't do the work properly, or they wouldn't do it at all. They would just take the money and go, or, you know, something like that. And so had he just listened, even though I didn't have a business, okay, all I could say is it's amazing what you can learn from a child. I learned so much from my son every day. He just says something, I'm just like, wow. Sometimes he just blows my mind with some of the things that he says. And so I have to stop and listen. You know, I have to, in a sense, humble myself, because just because he's a child doesn't mean that he can't teach me something. And the same goes for myself with my father, and the same goes for myself with with like people who own businesses. I may not have what you have. Okay, going back to this, I may not own a business like yours, or I may not be making the money that you make. Okay, but I have trained myself and I just don't share it. I haven't shared it yet, except for now. Here I am. Okay, about certain business savvy stuff, particularly how to run a remote business, how to get your social media going. Okay, when you have the capital to delegate. Okay, a lot of people have questions about what to do in social media. How do I build a remote team? What should we be focused on? You know, things like that. I have those answers. Okay, and I would like to share them with you. Okay, so I like to offer you a bit of information. Okay, there is an upcoming event. It was already shared once, and I didn't think he was going to share it again. I wasn't sure. I was just like, oh my gosh, there's another one coming. Okay, it's a 5-day event. 2 days over the weekend, you will have the implementation going for it. So by the time you are done with day 5, okay, you will have a good bit of this already going, if not already done, because of the way that it's taught. Okay, it's taught to take you from start to finish within those 5 days, to restructure and at least get things going to where you can make something definitely happen, so that you are coming to the end of 2002 shining, going into 2001. Okay, and I would be doing a complete and utter disservice if I did not share this information with you. It's selfish of me to keep this to myself. For some of you, you may not be Bible believers, okay? But for those of you who do believe in the Bible, okay, have you ever heard the proverbs about the talents? You know, you're given the talents and then you just hold on to them and you never share them. So how can they flourish? How can they duplicate and replicate? How can that happen? How can they multiply? You can't multiply when you're holding on to them, or when you dig a hole in the ground and you bury the stuff down there so nobody gets it. This information is doing nothing inside of me. Okay, I've been given some major, beautiful nuggets and lessons, and it's something that I want to share with you. So I'm going to drop a link in the description below. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, okay, it'll be in the description. Okay, if you are watching this on Facebook, it'll also be in the post, okay, up above. All right, so if you are on Instagram watching this, it will be in the bio. Okay, and of course, you guys, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Please feel free to give me a comment if you have any questions. Okay, but I have to share this with you. I can't keep this to myself. It's too good. And it does nothing for me, okay, other than sadden me, because I could be saving so many businesses with this information. So for me to you, this is something I want to give you. Okay, so hit that link down below. Okay, and I'll see you there. You better be there. You better be there, because if you're missing this, you are definitely going to miss the boat. You're going to miss the boat. Okay, guys, I'm out. That's all I have for you. Okay, so I'll see you there. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you there and waiting to hear your response to all of it. I want to see what you guys say. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I didn't think of any of that. Like, I had heard of this, that, but not like this. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Okay, guys? All right. I'm out. I'll see you guys there. Links in the description or up above or in the bio, depending on where you're watching this. All right, guys. I'm out. Bye.